Hello, Boon. Hello, Nana. You guys hear me?
Hi, Will.
Hello, James.
Everyone?
Yeah, nice. We have James and Boon and Wei Wu. And let's wait for a few minutes. Okay, guys, I emailed Tor that he's optional today, so maybe he's not going to show up. So maybe we just start from here, right? Is that all right, Boon, James?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So event, I mentioned that there's change of topic. Previously, we were talking about planning to look at Tor's paper, which summarized a few of our previous meetings on how to produce signed attestations that can be used in protocols, like sending Ether to someone by email and allowing the recipient to redeem the Ether from the sender's smart contract using attestation. That is going to be in next week. So this week we are doing some discussing how do we do the event. So previously, Boon explained to Boon and James that events on user interface is called activities, and is not strictly related to notifications, which is something we build in Alpha Wallet and nothing to do with likely nothing to do with TokenScript. But event is something that is in the TokenScript. So let's look at it. Yeah, a moment. Let's look. Okay, good. Let's look at. Let's start from the code. So this is a token script you're looking at. The change from the previous version. First, let's look at from line 7 to line 15, where a data object is defined. So here, a moment. Okay. Here, this is this data object is used to capture an event. As you can see that in the event there is a sequence of 5 elements. This event is a Ethereum ENS name transfer. So having this event means that someone transferred a ENS name to someone else. So this is a generic definition of the event in order to capture it from blockchain events. The way to use it is not here. The ways to use them, first, look at this. This is attribute definition for the attribute called name, which is a distinct attribute. We have distinct equals true here, which means that every distinct instance of this attribute represents a separate token. So let's say you have quite a few Ethereum names, and they are distinct by the name attribute. Let's say there are 3 distinct names. That means you have 3 ENS name tokens. So we used to use the origin method, which is to define origin element that indicates which contract is the holding contract, and you can do get balance to find out the instances. But that's not flexible enough, because for contracts like ENS name, there is no get balance method where you can simply get a list of tokens. So this attribute-based method is more flexible and elegant in a sense. The origins of this attribute is a event with the reference of the event of the data object definition in the contract section. This name registered, and contract name here, and there's a filter here. The filter has owner equals to owner address. Now we know that owner address is a implicit variable. It's the user's if it's in the user's handset, then it's the user's address. If it's on the market, then it's the owner's address. So by owner equal to owner address, we are filtering events whose owner value is owner, which means that this is incoming transfer. Because you could have transfer outside of your wallet, that would be a different event, but this one is about incoming transfer. So far, does it make sense so far for everybody? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, so then we have cards. That's the usual components of TokenScript. TokenScript has a declarative components. These are declarative. And then they have presentation components. These are presentation. Declarative meaning that it's the metadata. It's how to extract data from token, how to extract data from smart contracts. And cards here represent the user interface element. So we have token card as usual, which is the user element user interface for a token. And then we have this sample code, which simply say hello token. That's the content. Now we have view and we have view iconified. That's just two different ways to display token. Sometimes you need to display token in full. Sometimes you need to display token as an iconified form. And that's the end of token card. This is the typical TokenScript structure. The new things here is the new token card called event. And it has a reference to the name registered, and contract also should be here, contract. Yep. And you have the same filter, which means that you are interested in, for the event that is called name register, you are interested if owner equal to owner address. And inside of which you have the style and you have the view iconified and the view. So view iconified, for example, obtained new name, blah, blah, blah. And the view itself is someone new name, old owner equal to blah, 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 new owner equal to blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this would happen on like in an iconified way, and this is the proper look of this event. This will be evident if I show you the user interface. So here, I'm opening the user interface. Just a moment, still loading for me. Okay. So I'm going to share the screen to you. Where's the share button? Okay, so you can see this. Yeah. Yeah. So now, can you see the content of the user interface?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So look at this. There is a convert die to X die. This is event. Look at the left user interface. 1, 2, 3, 4 from top to down. The fourth one. This is convert X die to die. That's a activity that is iconified. So in case of Ether, In case of ENS name, you would say that obtain the ENS name column followed by the actual name. And if you click that event, you will open the event card with the detail of that event. Yeah, that should be it. Okay, so that's the event support basically. I can't believe I finished explaining it in 10 minutes. So far so good. Make any sense? Let me share the entire screen. Wait a moment. Share the entire screen.
Maybe you can explain why you had to do the filter twice at the end.
Oh yeah, yes. So you're in the meeting room? Okay, good. So let's look at the code here. And I hope there's a way to make the code look bigger because now I'm sharing the entire screen. Don't know how to do that. View, appearance. No, there doesn't seem to be a way to quickly.
View, appearance, presentation. Then.
Okay. I hope you mean this one, right? Okay. So so the question is, why do I have to filter it twice? So the first filter is used in attribute definition. Attribute type. Attribute type is where well, the reason we call it attribute type and not attribute is because there isn't real attribute value in it. It's a type. Okay, so the filter here is used to obtain lots of attributes, and because this is a distinct attribute type, this allows this one allows the mobile wallet or the market, whatever, use the agent, the TokenScript user, to figure out how many instances of that tokens are there. And this one is different. This one are the tokens that are relevant to the current user. So let's say if we change this to, let's imagine there's a sender, okay? Sender equals to, let's duplicate this code so make it make sense. Wait, okay. Sorry, that's duplicate. That's just bad craftsmanship. Okay, so let's say you have two event cards. So one filters by sender, the other is filters by owner. Okay, so when the event happens, this event card is drawn as many times as there are events, and this one which matches this filter, and this card join as many events as matching this filter, and this one attribute definition results in token as much as as many times as this one. So their numbers are different. Let me give you an example. Let's say you received a token, your name. Let's say what's your favorite name? Adrian? Apple, yeah. Okay. Let's say you received an ENS name called Apple, and then you sent it to Weiwu. And Weiwu decided that he doesn't like it and he sent it back to you. Now you have one attribute and one element because this is a distinct element definition, distinct attribute definition. You only have one distinct name, which is Apple, which is in your hand. You only have one. And that means this attribute has only one value. There's only one token. And this one, there are actually they each have one. They each have one. So this didn't make it interesting. Let's say we exchange it 5 times. Okay, so you send it to me and I send it back to you. Then this event card will be joined five times, and this event card will be joined 5 times too. So by counting them, you get different count result. Then you see how different they are, right? The other example is if you sent away that token Apple to me, let's say we exchanged 5 times, and at 6th time you sent it to me and I never sent it back to you. Now Apple is Wei-Wu's. So in your wallet, you get 0 tokens. Because there's no event that where the last occurrence of which has your name in it. And on the other hand, the event that says obtain new names, you have 5 times. And the event that says that you lost the name, you have 6 times. Yeah, so these are basically components, and the engine has to render them as many times as needed. Yeah, okay, I think that's it. Yeah.
In a similar example to what you gave, if I own one ENS token, I send it to you, and you send it back to me. If you refer back to that the storyboard you showed just now with screenshots, should it show 1 activity or 2?
2 activities.
And they are?
Sorry, say that again. Your scenario.
If I send an ENS token to you, and you send it back to me, if you look at your screen, what should you see?
Okay, because in the TokenScript, we defined that this TokenScript is interested in 2 types of events. Actually, there are 2 event cards, meaning that TokenScript should be interested in the event name register if it matches this condition, or if it matches this condition. That's why there are 2 events, because the TokenScript says that this TokenScript thinks the owner should be interested in the event that is coming out, token coming to you, the event that you lose a token, and not interested in all other events.
Because I initiated the transfer and then you transfer it back to me, if you look at your wallet, your TokenScript client, you would see 2
2
rows,
as well.
2 activities, one for receiving and one for sending.
Yes, for both.
Would that be a requirement where this has to be folded into a single activity?
No, they have
if
in
we send
different
it back and
times.
forth.
No, they would be rendered as a single token, but as different activities. So the relationship between token and the activity is like this one. For example, this is a token FRA-BLL. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see this user interface activity flow?
No, still looking at the source code.
Okay, so I'm getting familiar with this. Okay, now can you see
Yes.
it? Okay, so this is a token. You have only 1 token. This is the activity. It also means that if you sent away your ENS name, you will not have a token, and the only way to look at it is to go to find it in the activity.
How would the wallet know that I have lost the token? Because I sent it away.
Actually, I didn't find the corresponding event for ENS, so that example was incomplete. Is incomplete. But that has to be captured as well. Yeah.
Right, but does it mean that when I, after I have defined that event in the TokenScript file, the definition has to include that when this event is fired, when it's detected, the token balance has to be reduced by 1? How would we know? Because let's say for some reason, when I write the contract, I give the event name, I call it foo, FOO, because there is no standard on what I should call it. How would the TokenScript client know that this should decrease or increment the token balance?
First, how many instances are there in the token? Are we still talking about ENS?
Yes.
Okay, that's actually I didn't capture this. So let's say we have this we have this. We need to do something about it. If it's just a normal balance, it's easy because the number of instances doesn't change, so you don't have to count how many tokens are there. It's simply that you only if you have 100 ether or you have 1 ether, it's 1 token. You have 1 token. It's a different balance. But for this ENS name is different, so we actually have to do something here. Good question. A moment. Let me switch. Ah, damn it. Okay, now find how to use it. Okay. So something has to be done about in this section, which means actually, from your point, it sounds like actually we should get origin element back, because in this event .xml, it's a playground file that we try different designs. It seems it's impossible to capture the event that the token is sent away. And originally, we use a origin element to describe how do you get the instances of elements. We probably should get that one back.
If you look at 928, it's also possible that the contract is written in such a way that when an event is triggered, more than 1 token is received.
No,
that
in that
possible?
case, if you receive more than 1 event, a token, in that you have a situation where you have 1 transaction with multiple events. And that's
But
actually
I
normal
could have.
because if you, for example, if you use DAI to buy a ether, you are guaranteed to get more than 1 event. One event is that you lose some DAI, and the other event is you get some ether. So the event transaction relationship is like, if you have multiple events under the on this user. Sorry, I was about to find user interface, but I couldn't find one. So if you have multiple events in one transaction, they display on the user interface as a lot of events happening at the same time. We can probably make it more elegant, like grouping them with transaction ID or something.
Well, for example, for our FIFA ticket contract, when we do a bulk transfer, does it fire multiple events if I buy if I acquire more than 1
actually
ticket?
yes and no. This most contract writer probably would write batch transfer in such a way that it's a multiple call through a proxy contract. By the contract, multiple call to the same token contract and transfer it multiple times in one transaction. But in FIFA ticket case, we built a batch transfer within. So it's really up to the token's smart contract author. If the author decides that he produces an event with an array in it, like this one, but instead of uint, it's an array, then you can have one event with multiple items, and that affects the display as well. So if you write smart contract in the way we write it, which is producing a single event, no matter how many tickets have been transferred, then you write corresponding token script, and in the user interface activity tab, for imagination purpose, let me switch this. Okay, in the activity tab, you will see one single event with a lot of with information about all the tickets you have transferred. But if it's the smart contract written by the community, which love to use a proxy contract instead, then you will see a lot of events, and each transfer a ticket, and they happen at the same time.
Right. If you go back to the source code.
Yeah. Doing that. Yeah.
So we agree. When a single event is transferred, there can be more than 1 instance of the token being transferred. So my point is, when you say that we need to add something to approximately line 20 to handle transferring out, sending of tokens, I'm saying that line 28 has also to be modified in order to handle receiving of tokens. We can't assume that there is just one instance incoming.
Yeah, um, that's you're presenting a really challenging situation where the smart contract author decidedly not implement get balance, forcing us to find a distinct instance of the token through events. And the same author simply decided to have one event fired for multiple token transfer, making us clueless about how many instances the thing happens. So
Yes.
if the smart contract is written in that way, I actually don't have a good idea how to save the situation. Yeah, so normal people probably would write a get balance, but ENS decided not to do so. And I believe that if ENS decided to do so, not to do so, there will be other smart contract authors not providing get balance. Therefore, we have to find some ways to distinctly identify elements, tokens through events. But I didn't think that you would mix that situation in. That makes it really challenging. I don't have an answer to that.
Well,
Yeah.
something like CryptoKitties might be an example. For some reason, they don't have or they don't have in an efficient way to get balance with a single call. And it's not hard to imagine that you can buy a bunch of CryptoKitties with one transaction. Maybe they don't do it now, but someone in the same situation might do that.
So, as far as I know, you cannot index or access previous events from a smart contract, can you? Can you?
And no idea, probably not.
Previous events,
Yes.
but they should be on the blockchain.
Yes, but can you access it from a smart contract?
Um,
Get events and then in smart contract go through them.
Not in the smart contract. Not that I can think of. Not there's no like, you know, block.
So there's no way to access a list of events from smart contract, although you can produce them in smart contract and you can index them from outside smart contract, but you cannot do this inside smart contract, which disabled the last resort, which is to write a view function, deploy your own contract, and just return these events. That way is blocked. So in this case, there's no way to solve it in the in a declaration fashion like we do in TokenScript. So we probably would allow, if we still want to be compatible with those, we probably need to allow programming in this very specific section. It's a little bit, the reason I want to avoid programming and use declarative directives like this is you can hardly make assumption of the environment. For example, our application uses iOS and Java in Android. So if we interpret TokenScript and build our own notification chain or what should be done with a certain attribute, we can build our implementation in any language. But once you introduce a get instance method that allows a piece of JavaScript to find how many instances of tokens you have by looking at the events and do some algorithm, then you pretty much restricted the environment to be JavaScript as well. So I don't know how to handle that situation. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we suggest them to put a get balance there or to fire events individually.
Yes, or we take it when we see it.
Yeah, and they will say, I like to write smart contract in this way because I can. Now it's your problem. And
Well,
I
if
can
they
make it
can,
popular. I can make it popular by sheer power of the community and not by having the good code or whatever. You can do
well,
such
if they
kind of
can
things.
say
You have to deal
that,
with
then
it.
at least if they can say that, then at least the smart contract has not been written yet. So that's good.
Yeah. So don't know how many already deployed smart contract has this problem. So distinct having distinct element was the idea that maybe we can use attributes to identify instances of a token, but look like it's not that easy. Maybe I will come up with an alternative design where we have either use origin element or we enrich the method of a distinct element. Distinct is the distinct method is more elegant because you can do the same on get balance. You can simply say the ID is token ID, and the origin of which is a smart contract view call. to get balance, and you apply distinct equal to true, then no matter how many token IDs are returned, you get this number of instances. So it's more elegant than origin element, but maybe it's not as flexible. I don't know. Maybe we can get our second event like this. Sorry. I don't know. Outgoing. That's a bad name, I know. Yeah, something like this. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know if they actually fire an event that contains the address of the person who lose the token in ENS. They could have done it in such a way that you only get an event where the receiver has its address is mentioned in the event, and they don't have an event for that at all. In that case, how do we capture that? Yeah.
You can use name registered with the reverse of that filter, which you have in line 28.
Oh yes, we can do that. Oh yes, that's really smart way to do that. Yes, of course. Yeah. So use reverse filter somehow. Yeah, it has to be implemented in such a way. It's not very straightforward. Oh, sorry. Are you in for the attribute?
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. What if the transfer does not involve that owner at all?
For example, you lose a token because it's expired and you didn't pay.
No, imagine there are three parties.
Yeah.
Just three users in the whole ecosystem.
Mm.
So I transfer a token to you, a name registered event is triggered, but a third party, James, he's going to match line 31 and 32, but it doesn't involve him at all.
Wait a moment. If I buy a token from someone, you transfer someone, in that smart contract, it's called token registered. It's actually be tokens transferred, but these people don't care.
Okay. Well, I'm saying that using the inverse of the filter in 928 might not work.
Basically, when you do inverse, you first do the first filter and get instances, and then you use that instance token ID to get the second one. So the reverse filter is not like owner not equal to you. It's like a name equal to something.
Okay. Okay.
So name equal to name, because now you get name value already. Yeah. So it's no longer about owners, but you need to register more than one event, because it's not register. You need to connect to more than one event, because there's name registered and there's name expired, and there are other stuff. Name destroyed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you handle, like, if I had only one CryptoKitty and I sent it to James, then I would no longer have that filter for the attribute type. Actually, I don't own that cat anymore. The token's disappeared. How would you keep track of that event?
Okay, that's a nice question. First, if it's really kitty, you probably would be using, instead of origin from events, you use origin from functions, which is get element, which is more elegant. And the second is that this event, we have defined a special outgoing true equals true, which means it's only applicable if there is a result in the first one. And based on the first one, everyone else has to go through the second filter. So actually, this should be inside in a certain sense. Wait, something happened to my shortcut keys. Okay, so it's probably like this. Yeah, only for those results in the first filter. Yeah.
Sorry, and right at the top, when we did the first filter, not this filter here,
Uh-huh.
I was thinking about like when we did the filter right at the, actually, yeah, the
This is the first time we use filter here.
Yeah, so if I have transfer that cat, will that still be in my wallet? Like, because it would, I would lose that token out of my wallet.
Yeah, so in this case, the attribute is not relevant to you anymore because this attribute is used to identify how many instances you are. And because that filter returns 0, you get no tokens. Then you simply don't have a token card. Then this token script is loaded and then quickly discarded.
And then how do I get to see my cat transferred?
You need to go to the activities. There's no trash can.
Cool.
Yeah. The trash can concept is a bad one because once you add trash can, people don't start say, okay, what if I have a token, someone airdropped me a token, I don't want to have it, but you cannot delete it. What do? You hide it, and that is in trash can. So if the kitty is you sold it, then it should not be in cash can because trash can is already used for a different concept.
So even if I transfer the cat, I will still have I would have no token, but I'll have the events in my activities.
Yes, and when you do a click at event in activity, the prospect changes. So let's say if you click the kitty you just transferred away, then in this case you are clicking that event, and that event, it has a token ID. That event has a very specific identifying attribute like name or ID. So it's no longer running the distinct filter because you are already calling that object by name. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's it then. It remains to be solved. How do we deal with an event outgoing transfers? But otherwise, Boone and James Brown, are you inclined to use this distinct attribute, or are you more inclined to use origin, which define the origination methods?
Distinct seems easier.
Yeah. Actually, I'm more inclined to that to fix distinct. Yeah.
If,
Yes, it's subtly different from origin,
Yeah.
which you're already using. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, the original intention of using origin is it's easy to mix other sources like attestation. You get signed a message from someone in instant messenger. It's not on the blockchain, but it has to be displayed as a token because you can sell it. So you can, according to some smart contract. Therefore, you need to write an origin that attestation is somewhere. But you can argue the other way around, that you can also use distinct, and then in the distinct you have origin which says attestation. And you can even argue this is even better because now you can get a attestation that covers a lot of tokens. So yeah. Well, every time our meeting is 45 minutes, so we have 5 minutes to go. 6 minutes. Any questions? Maybe you want to have a look at the corresponding user interface. Yeah, and then we look at if you have any question there. So this is user interface is Alpha Wallet implementation, of course. You can have your own implementation. If you make a marketplace which uses TokenScript to represent the elements or represent what happened in the elements, like Etherscan can use this, and they probably have different interface. This is just Alpha Wallet. And this transfer detail is this transfer, like a conversion successful. You get certain points of X die. This is the activity card in full. compared to activity card in one iconified. The iconified one says convert X die to die, and the full one has a picture in it. And in the case of add-con ticket, because the full activity is not defined, and it simply takes you to the token itself. Make sense? Okay, so I guess that's it. I haven't. Sorry. Check. Let me check. Okay. I haven't introduced you to Lana. Lana joined our meetup last time, and we are talking about the possibility of working together. The other person, what was his name that we talked with in the morning? Aiden? Yes, Aiden. Are you there? No, he's not here. So yeah, so Aiden and
hello
Lana,
everyone.
yeah, Aiden and Lana are like interested in our this round of recruitment. So yeah, just okay. So well, that's it. Any questions? Oh, Tor. Hello, Tor. Didn't see you there. Oh,
Hello.
Agent, you are here. Yeah, of course you're here already. Yeah. Okay, all good. Thank you, everybody. That's for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.